Okay, so your decision makers and those guys you're selling to are present on LinkedIn. But now, how do you set up such B2B SaaS campaign that would be consistently getting you 10 to 20K in new monthly recurring revenue? In this video, I'll break down all the steps you need to know in order for you to execute this successfully. First thing, you want to take care of your lead list, because that's where we start with. Initially, you want to ask yourself a question, okay, who is facing this pain the most badly? And based on that, you want to come up with 3 buyer personas of decision makers that you will be selling to. Imagine that you've got some solution for, let's say, marketing agencies. You would be looking at, for instance, CMO, then CEO, and then head of sales. Or, for example, if that's more on a technical side of things, you'd be rather looking for a CTO and head of technology, guys like that. So 3 buyer personas, but how do you get them on LinkedIn? Look, there are a bunch of different ways how you can get the decision makers profiles aside from just LinkedIn Sales Navigator search. Of course, you can look up my other video on this channel from where you will learn more about how do you set up the LinkedIn Sales Navigator, because just from there you can find a lot of information. But say that this LinkedIn Sales Navigator is not getting you fantastic results, what can you do to make it even more effective? Because especially if, for example, no matter how hard you try using all this filtering and additional steps, you still have like 30-50% people are irrelevant in your lead list. Then you can look into using additional lead databases for getting the info. Once I can point you to would be ListKit, and I think Apollo is also getting you the people's LinkedIns. In case it does not, then you can do the enrichment using the Sales Navigator, combining the company info with people's information. And I think the enrichment can be done with Better Contact or Phantom Buster or a couple other tools for enrichment. So this was if your buyer personas are easy to find and when there's plenty of them. But what do you do if you want to become more creative than that, and if you want to have much higher reply rate than you have been having? Then you can look into multiple options. First, you can scrape LinkedIn events, and there are different ways to do that. One of them would be golden leads, and here there are a couple things. One, you can look into groups, because imagine that, okay, again, this stupid simple example, you want to sell to marketing agencies. You can look up LinkedIn groups for marketing agencies and set up filters there, such a way that you'd only have the founders, and boom, here's your list of a lot of LinkedIn founders of marketing agencies. Then there can also be not just groups, but also events, and there are a couple different types of events. Those which would be similar to groups, and those that would be just one-time online ones. So for either of them, you can use the platform called Golden Leads for you to scrape those. Then the other interesting creative way is for you to scrape LinkedIn followers of some people. And imagine that, for example, you are scaling a B2B SaaS for Salesforce owners. How can you build a lead list on LinkedIn that would be just those founders who are also using Salesforce, because your SaaS is like extension for it? Very good niche, by the way. Here you can find different influencers who are in this space and talking to about like different Salesforce hacks, and you can use other different providers for you to get all their followers, and then you can have different filters in this audience list, and from an influencer which has, for example, 10,000 followers, you can aim for, it depends, but say 1,000 or a couple thousand people who would be more relevant to you. I know a lead generation agency that for one of their clients, for a single year, they've been running just influencer type campaigns for cold email. What they've done is they scraped the Twitter followers of a large account, and they were going with, yo, I've seen you follow this guy, By the way, we offer this thing that he's always talking about. How about we show you how we can do it for you? And with that, they've been running for easily like 6-12 months or something, still booking a lot of meetings. Then this is how you can scrape people from influencers. The next is you can look up your competitors, and this can be done with a platform called Built-With. So there, imagine you look up a competitor, then look, there are multiple niches which I'm working with right now that, for example, have super long commitment periods for B2B SaaS contracts. For example, we're talking 2 to 5 year periods, and especially in pharmaceutical space, this would sometimes be 5 to 10 year lock-in periods. And with them, of course, this might be not the best route to go with, because you'd spend like ages trying to win your customer from another competitor. However, if your industry and your niche is more flexible than that, then you can look up competitors on LinkedIn, you can check all their followers, you can scrape all their followers and build a list out of that, and then send out a campaign saying, yo, I know that so that you're also interested in solutions for such space, and by the way, we do this and that, how about we have a chat about this? And I've successfully done this with multiple SaaS products that, for example, were in the competitive landscape. We would look up different competitors and we would know their weaknesses. So in our outbound campaigns, we would speak about those weaknesses and say how we were able to fix them better. And this sparked curiosity from leads, got us meetings, and then converted to sales. And then there is another creative way you can build lead lists on LinkedIn, and this would be from giveaways. And this one, you can use the tool called Phantom Buster, because there you will find a giveaway. Say, for example, someone is saying, yo, if you want to level up your Salesforce agency, download my PDF. And you see that 100 people who are running Salesforce agencies, they all engaged with this one. Use Phantom Buster, get all the contacts from there and run campaign to them. Again, you will have a very high hit rate because so many of your relevant leads are already there. And these are all the cool ways how you can get much better and more targeted lists than just with Sales Navigator. Cool. Then you need to set up 3 to 5 LinkedIn accounts. Why 3 to 5? Because with one you will quickly hit the weekly limits, and that's why I know a couple agency owners right now who are scaling LinkedIn outbound, having 30 to 40 accounts. Unfortunately, in this video I will not talk about how you get multiple accounts, but you can DM me to learn more because I have been abusing this strategy so much that I had my main account banned on LinkedIn. So that's why I'm not super public about it anymore. Then say you have the accounts, and then people would often just dive in and blast out the campaigns, but they forget another super important step, which is optimizing the LinkedIn account. None of this would make sense if your accounts on LinkedIn look awful and untrustworthy. That's why you want to be putting some not super salesy bio. You want to have an about section, oftentimes written with ChatGPT, but so that it does not look completely like ChatGPT. What you do there is you put 4 to 5 company experiences that the person has worked in and say, write me a cool about section for LinkedIn using these experiences and how I'm so cool that I've gone through this journey. And this usually gives you a very nice prompt. Next, so there is bio, there is about section. For the bio, I don't recommend you do something super salesy, and you never put sales manager because that's gonna kill your acceptance rate. And then, okay, we have bio, we have about section, we have experiences all written down and with some information, because many people would ask me, Denis, why our LinkedIn campaigns suck? And then I open the profiles they're sending it from, and it turns out that they just have either no experience or they're not written at all. And you want to look as legit as possible, because in LinkedIn You're gonna be judged by your profile over a couple seconds, and of course you don't want to miss out on super easy steps like this one. Next, you would potentially want to have couple recommendations, and that's extra, but it's useful. So if you can have your colleagues exchange with testimonials with one another, it's better than not to have them at all. And you would want to feature a few posts as well. Ideally, could be the case studies, how your product delivered on certain promised outcome, or some expert level posts from your company or your blog page. Cool. This should usually get you the optimized LinkedIn profile in place. And keep in mind that unless you have 500 connections, your profile does not look legit. So 500 connections plus, and everything else I've spoken about. So say you have 5 of those, you have the lead list, and now we're ready to go. You then open Drippyy, because I recommend this one tool for sending out outbound campaigns. Look, there are a zillion of them on the market. Many of them can get you banned. I know that Drippyy and Expedia are trustworthy. The more you try to save, the higher likelihood of you getting your account banned. So better overpay $40 here than worry about getting your accounts banned, like I had to. Sweet. Then, once we have the tool, the next part would be to set up the flow. And there we're gonna be thinking about it in 3 chunks. It's gonna be pre-connection flow, the connection flow, and then the flow for what happens in case something goes wrong throughout the sequence. The pre-connection flow, many people don't use it, and I think that's exactly where they miss out a lot, because what you can do is you can take couple actions automatically using one of these tools on people's profile, so that when you reach out to them, you don't look completely new. So for instance, one of these pre-connection flows can be visit the profile page, comment under the post, then like a post, like another recent post, and few more. And you can have gaps between them, sometimes between like 30 minutes and couple hours. Or if you want to even have a higher acceptance rate, potentially you can squeeze in few day gaps there. If your profile is extremely well optimized and looking super legit and your case study is on point, then even by you visiting people's pages and liking their posts, sometimes you can have them engage with you without you needing to send a connection request. This doesn't happen very often, but if you're seeing this happen in your case, that's a very good point about your messaging. Then that's the pre-connection flow. You can do a profile visit like the post and so on. Then you want to send out the connection request. The 2 types of connection requests, which I've tested dozens, and these have been producing one of the most healthy acceptance rates of roughly between 30 and 40%. These have been either blank connection requests, like you sending no text there at all, because this does not make you look salesy. And second option is you sending out the following message: hi, name, saw that we're both in ABC industry and thought I'd connect. Keeping it super simple, no sales pitch here. Why? Because we want to get as many connections as possible, because once you're connected with someone, that's exactly, it's much easier for them to reject you at the acceptance stage rather than block you when you're already in their DMs. So you want to get in people's DMs. Then you have them accept your invitation, and then you send out the booking sequence. Sometimes we follow this three-step approach of you doing 2 questions at the start and then inviting them to the call, but this can vary from 3 to 5 steps depending on the niche you're in. And of course, if you have them not responding to the messages, you want to have other steps put in your flow as well. So for instance, visit profile again, re-engage with them again, do this another thing, and this is going to allow you to be more in their eyes. Imagine we go for the classic 3-step sequence: qualifying question 1, qualifying question 2, then personalized invitation to call. Here you would be looking at 3 to 5% booking rate. Meaning if out of, imagine you have 5 accounts and every day they send out 20 outbound requests each. That's 100 sent. For simplicity, let's say 50 people accepted. Out of 50 people accepted, if over a 2-day period you can have 3 calls, so for example, today you had 50 accepted, tomorrow you had 50 accepted, if you can book 3 to 5 calls from there, from 5 accounts, this would make it a very nice and healthy LinkedIn outbound funnel to me, because such way you can be booking 3 to 5 calls every couple days, and that's like 15-20 calls a week, which is many times 3 to 5 times more than most of the people who I begin working with. Imagine we have the flows sorted and we are seeing 3 to 5 calls coming out every other day. What's then? Then you can scale up to more LinkedIn accounts. Additionally, by then you would have more revenue coming from these deals, so you can look into reinvesting into LinkedIn ads funnel, which I'll break down in one of the next videos. And thirdly, you want to make sure that you're posting content on all of these accounts at least once a day, because by you varying the types of content and posting case studies, things about your company, plus why it makes sense to do business with you, this will get you additional inbound leads, and also it's extremely crucial for all of this to work. It's great that you stayed for some time already, because if you didn't hear this, none of this would be really efficient. No LinkedIn outbound campaign scales without accounts having really decent presence on LinkedIn. Yes, sure, you can be at like 10% acceptance rate and then 1 out of 100 people responding if your profile is looking completely dead, but that's like not worth the time, you know? So that's why you want to have at least 1 or 2 or like 3 posts going out every week on all these profiles, so they look active and real, and this is super important. Then you can diversify into other channels like LinkedIn ads, LinkedIn content, and few more. And another creative thing is you can add cold email campaigns here, because look, if your LinkedIn outbound is working, this means that your cold email should high chance also work for you, because similar principles apply. And the beauty of cold email is that unlike LinkedIn, it does not have any capacity, limited capacity to it, and you can scale up domains way more easier than scaling up to more LinkedIn accounts. And after executing all of this, you should definitely see more traction happening to your outbound leads. And yeah, if you would want some help scaling this up, just go to saascam.com, apply, and book a slot with me. And on this wonderful note, I'd wish you to have a fantastic rest of the day, and talk soon.